BOXXER, the super middleweights, live from BT. Welcome to viewers on BT Sport and ITV4. I'm Steve Bunce. Alongside me is Paulie Malignaggi, double world champion at 2 weights. Zach Chelli is the biggest favourite in BOXXER history, but he's also got the furthest to fall. And I can't help wondering, Paulie, and I really mean this, and I mean this nicely, Zach Chelli is a fight at most away from a British title. Why would you risk a tournament like this with all of the wild cards that we've got?
Because you got to stay busy in a crazy year such as 2020 has been. And I think he's made a smart decision. He comes in as the favorite. So actually, if he wins this tournament, he actually improves his status within the national level of boxing level. And
he's already had one fight post-COVID, a controversial draw outdoors.
Yeah, and he's not scared to take on some good competition. So if you look at his record, he's taken on some solid records in his resume. So I mean, BOXXER really doesn't pose an extra threat to him like the rest of his career has been. He's taken on some good fighters. So in BOXXER, you know you'll take on some fellow prospects, fellow guys who have undefeated records and whatnot. You know, he's all for it. He's shown he's all for it even before entering the tournament.
No, he has shown that he is prepared to go where most kids having their 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th fight at any weight in this country are not prepared to go. I think he's had at least 4 fights that, you know, he maybe could have had in traditional terms in his 12th or 13th fight. Instead, this is only his 10th tonight. I think he needs to be applauded.
And he's got a nice style, really sharp jab. And you know, we talked last fight while mixing the jab, varying the jab, touching it and snapping it. You know, Chelli really gets in there. He's got a nice snappy jab, but also he'll touch with it when he needs to. There's a nice snappy jab right there. And he's got some quick hands, a solid style. You know, I want to see a couple more feints made from him here and there, but aside from that, he looks very poised. And he looks like he's ready to win the tournament. He's got the mentality, while Georgiev has really come into early, not a very busy mentality, and in a 3-round fight, it's not going to bode well if he doesn't get busy.
Now, you lose the first round of these tournaments, any tournament format where it's only 3-minute rounds. You lose that first round, it is a massive uphill struggle. What he's doing here is he's boxing Chelli like we expected him to box, and Vladimir Georgiev will have to have, well, as we say in the trade, and it's a basic expression, he'll have to have a real go. He'll have to let every single thing go in rounds 2.
Yeah, he's fighting the first round like he has 10 rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
To do this. Now, to his defense, to his credit, you know, he's taken the fight on the last-minute notice after Chelli's original opponent fell out with COVID. So, you know, it is a last-minute replacement, but nonetheless, he's only got 3 rounds. He's fighting the first round like it's an average fight for him, like it's an average 8 or 10 rounder. Let's see.
And in all fairness, Paulie,
and he got the favorite.
Georgiev's a big middleweight. Chelli is a super-sized super middleweight. He's a big super middle. He's fought at light heavy. He's a big super middle. Zach Chelli doing just about what we thought he would do there, controlling things from the middle of the ring, using his jab, trying to let his left hand go, trying to drop his right hand in, not overdoing it, knowing that it's 2 contests. It's a semi-final and a final. You've got to watch the tank. Not take your foot off the tank, not take your foot off it, but you've got to be a little bit careful and a little bit cautious. That's what we saw there from Zach Chelli. That was experience. Nice and controlled, Paulie.
Absolutely. Protects himself with the jab, keeps Georgiev from getting anything started. Also puts Georgiev in positions to take other shots with the jab as well. You know, he uses the jab, puts Georgiev in a bad defensive position, and then he'll come back with a right hand. Or otherwise, he'll just control the center ring with the jab and prevent Georgiev from ever getting anything started.
So it's round 2, semi-final 1 here inside the BT boxing bubble in Stratford, in the shadow of the 2012 Olympic Stadium. Zach Chelli a man who is not afraid to make and have bold fights. He stepped up against unbeaten prospects, fellas like him with 6 or 7 wins. He's won some, he's lost some, and he's drawn some in the fights that matter.
I'd like to see him come back with the left hook. I've seen a couple of times in the first round, he comes back with a double jab and right hand to the stomach. I'd like to see that right hand to the stomach followed with a left hook to the head, only because Georgiev goes in complete defensive position at that point. So you're not really risking if you come back with the 4th punch of a combination. At times, you know, if you make the combination too long, you might be there for the return. But Georgiev goes into full defensive position when that jab comes his way. So I think Chelli has an opportunity when he backs him up to the ropes at a double jab right hand to the stomach to really follow it up with a left hook to the head.
Yeah, he's looking here, Georgiev, like a man who's come in at short notice. Of course, this particular tournament, like tournaments across the globe, has been affected by COVID. Boxers falling out of bed, as we say in boxing, on the day of the fight, the day before a fight. Georgiev here, a fight he's taken. He may have been in preparation, he may have known for a few weeks, but it's not the same degree of preparation. And in all fairness, Paulie, Zach Chelli maybe could put his foot down here and take it to Georgiev, because he is breathing heavy as well.
Yeah, and for Georgiev too, you know, unfortunately for him, he also comes in against a tournament favorite. You know, so you're coming right in, cold, last minute notice, and you're taking on the tournament favorite.
And I've got to tell you, there's a way that Chelli's fighting this. This is sensible boxing. This is tournament boxing. He's boxing like he has over the years when he was an amateur at the All-Stars Club and also at the Dow Youth when he's in multi-fight tournaments. He's boxing sensibly, not overcommitting, even though he possibly could overcommit. And I think he's slowly picking apart Vladimir Georgiev.
Sometimes I think he's starting to throw everything a little bit too hard. I'd still like to see him maybe take some mustard off.
Touch a bit more.
No, not even so much touch, Sponsi, I tell you, but just take a little bit off the shots here and there. I think he sees Georgiev is ready to go, or just in full survival mode, so he has nothing to lose by throwing hard. But maybe you don't have anything to lose in terms of paying for it with something in return, but what you do have to lose is you're probably not going to land as many good shots as you want to, because Georgiev is going to see them coming if you load up every single shot and they come at the same speed. So maybe a little bit of more, again, just like I said with Lawal last fight, maybe a little more versatility, taking something off some of the shots, so then you can come back and put something back on some of the others.
So Zach Chelli comfortably in control, boxing like a man who knows he'll have to get back in the ring at some other point. End of round 2 here in the first semi-final. BOXXER, the super middleweights. We've had heavyweights, we've had light heavyweights, we've had cruiserweights. This is about the men at 12 stone, a division which during the last 30 years has become the British division. It is where British boxers have had more success and dominated more than at any other weight, the super middles. Nice and relaxed there from Zach Chelli. Would you go for it? Would you try and finish it in this round, Paulie, or would you continue with the same?
I don't mind him trying to finish it in the round, but I do mind the way he's going to go about it. If you're going to go about it smart, set him up, and then use the big shots, all right. You know, but if you're just going to throw everything hard, you're just going to burn energy and you're not going to get the knockout, because Georgiev is in full survival mode, so you got to kind of set him up a little bit.
Smart words from a very smart fighter, Paulie Malignaggi.
I love Chelli's left hand. I mean, it's very educated.
It's a great jab, isn't it?
He's got not just a great jab, he turns it into a hook a couple of times really nicely. Very educated left hand. I like the way he uses it, and he's very versatile with that. Can really control a long range of a fight, long course of a fight with a punch like that. You know, you have a punch like that, you can control an entire fight for 10, 12 rounds with it.
Well, in all fairness, he also has the benefit. I know that there was lockdown, but he's 3 consecutive 10-round fights stretched over an 18-month period. But those are good fights as well, Paulie. That's invaluable rounds when you're. And also, he's 22 years of age. He's a relative novice.
Yeah, when you're on the come up, I mean, you're still gaining that experience. I mean, for 22 years of age to have had these 10 rounders already, that's priceless for a guy like this. And again, like I mentioned earlier, he hasn't fought the easiest of competition either. So he's gotten in there. He's gaining some valuable experience, and you can tell he's a poised fighter.
He had a win against Umar Sadiq. They were both unbeaten. He had a loss against Cody Davis. I think they were both unbeaten. And then he had the controversial draw in the Garden at Matchroom Boxing earlier this summer. Or sorry, at the end of the summer. And that was a fight that he thought he won. And you know what? He could have got the decision, but it wasn't the robbery people are talking about. Still, he would like Jack Cullen. And that's understandable.
Let him go, Vladimir. Don't hold him. Under the things. Don't hold him. Let him go. Let him go. Break. Step back. Step back. You're holding him, Vladimir. Don't hold him.
Georgiev now in full survival mode. You can tell Chelli wants the knockout. You can tell Chelli wants to get him out of there, but he's going about it a bit. He's trying a bit
too hard, maybe.
Yeah, trying a bit too hard for the stoppage. The fight is won. I mean, Georgiev is in full defensive mode. The fight is won, but Chelli, if Chelli's going to fight this way, where he's just going to throw everything hard, he's probably better off just conserving energy for the final. You can get the stoppage if you go about it the right way.
If you can pick your shots.
But this way, you're going to win the fight anyway. I doubt he's going to get the stoppage, and he's probably going to maybe wear himself out for the final. Let's see.
Zach Chelli did have a fight with Ben Ridings from Kieran Fowler's gym up in Manchester, but Ben entered the COVID space, the COVID-free space, only it wasn't a COVID-free space, and after a day, it was worked out that he had failed a COVID test. Nobody else was infected. He was. He fell out of bed, and at that particular moment, Georgiev, who was inside the COVID-free zone, was elevated from reserve to semi-final number 1 against Zach Chelli. The Ridings fight would have been better, without a doubt.
Georgiev throwing a few punches at the end of the fight. He saved himself for the last 30 seconds.
Vladimir Georgiev close to stumbling around that ring. He looks absolutely exhausted. He was there in the first, he survived a bit in the second and most of the third, and then, as Paulie pointed out, he did have a bit of a push in the last 20 or 30 seconds. Thoroughly earned every single penny that he is being paid this evening. He will move to 5 fights, 4 wins and 1 loss, and Zach Chelli will improve to 8 wins from 10 fights, but more than that, he will advance to the super middleweight final, which will be, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes away, 45 minutes away at the very most. They'll come together, but it's merely for the formalities. Zach Chelli there doing what favourites are meant to do in multi-fight tournaments and control things, not take risks, not let your hands go, not get your head anywhere near your opponent's head, not pick up a cut from a stray elbow. That's what you're meant to do. That's what Zach Chelli did. I do have a slight change, and I do have to admit to getting something wrong earlier, and trust me, I don't admit to getting that many things wrong with regards to boxing. I did say earlier that the final would be over 5 rounds of 3 minutes. Well, I have been told that inside the British Boxing Board of Control's rulebook, it states that all tournaments must be over 3 rounds of 3 minutes. So there was a move, there was an understanding that it would be 5 rounds of 3 minutes, which would have been fantastic. However, it will be 3 rounds of 3 minutes. I've now got a giant shovel, which has just been given to me so that I can carry on digging. At least I'm telling the truth. The producers are laughing at me. Paulie Malignaggi's smiling. I've got no help at all from anybody I'm working with here. It was left to me to declare it the final 5 rounds of 3 minutes. It is only going to be 3 rounds of 3 minutes. I think we can get the result from the MC. I think he's somewhere. It's a formality. Let's go to the MC.
And after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges, Terry O'Connor, Lee Avery and Bob Williams, scored about 30 to 27. For your winner by unanimous decision, and advancing to tonight's final, Zach Chelli!